Hello and welcome back to Hollowponds Solo Sagas, and today we are playing more solo role-playing games, and today's role-playing game of choice is Season 2 Continuation Episode 9 of Twilight 2000. So yes, we are continuing with Series 2 of Twilight 2000, the 4th edition by Freely Publishing. Thank you very much to my subscribers for returning. If you have returned, I assume you've returned. If you have not yet subscribed, may I actively encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Then you'll see when new things come up, and we rotate through lots of different games, and we play lots of different solo games on the channel, which we quite enjoy. And we also very rarely, but I haven't done for ages, do a skirmish game. So one of the solo skirmish games. Thank you very much to all of my supporters, particularly the members of the Adventurers Guild, as I think we have decided to call ourselves. Thank you very much for all of your support and for all of your comments and all of your encouragement. And thank you very much to everybody's support and encouragement, and for you watching and furthering this channel and my sharing of my hobby, my pastime, my thoughts and my creativity with you. Thank you very much. Anyway, where did we leave our team? Well, we've expanded in numbers quite dramatically since we've freed the civilians from the marauders to the south of the map. We are split at the moment across Poland, just a small region of Poland, but we're still split up. We've done the cardinal sin, particularly if you're playing with a DM, which is don't split the party because it makes it harder. I'm solo playing and I've split the party, I've fractured the party all over the place. We're split between 4 locations really at this point, which is on the 14th of May, we're coming into the evening shift. We'll be doing the evening shift. My notes for the last couple of games has got really chaotic. It took me a good 10 minutes to read through this and try and work out where we were. So I believe where we are at the moment, we've got Treblinka is where, actually this safe spot here, I don't know what that is. So we've got Treblinka is where Doc is. I've worked out, is remembered where that is. At the moment we have Toby and Jacob chased down the scout squad, which was also the sniper team, to here, and took down the last person in these woods here. And so they would be either trying to make their way back or trying to retrieve. I think they did retrieve some bits and stuff for them, but they would be trying to retrieve bits off the bodies, which will give them a recon roll or something, and then they can retrieve bits and make their way back to Jane. Jane is still outside Rocklaw with the Bradley, at the moment on her own. So if something happens, Rocklaw might help her, but we don't know, but Jane's there. We then have Staff, who has moved from where the Marauders base was out to get the Jeep to come back, because we have Jack, who has ruptured kidney, is unconscious and possibly unconscious for an unknown period of time and probably will need some form of surgery. Jack is here with the 2 civilians, Anna and Maria. So we're split across 4 locations, and so we're moving into the evening shift of the 14th of May, as I said. So our standard procedure is, first off, we roll for weather changes, shift by shift, to see how the weather has done. The weather is good. It's been sunny, actually. It's still, so it's a warm evening. I'll try and write around my other notes. So the 14th of May is a warm evening. What is it, April, May? Yeah. So we've got spring, late spring, warm evening, as we will then work out what everyone would do. So Jane is going to be basically on watch, waiting for Toby and Jacob to come back. So Jane is with the Bradley, keeping the Bradley secure and on watch. We have Staff. Staff will be taking the Jeep back down. So Staff is going to drive back down. Staff is not very good at driving, so might even get himself lost. We've got Jack is resting and is unconscious still. Toby and Jacob will be marching back, and one of them will do a watch. I think Jacob might have the best recon between Jacob and Toby. So Jacob will be on watch. Toby has a recon of D10, D10. Jacob, oh no, so Toby's on watch. Jacob will just be doing the marching, so as they return back, but they'll both do a recon. So we'll give them a roll to see if they can find stuff off the bodies, because they took down several of them as they went and they just kept running, so they need to come back through, find them, and then try and scavenge stuff off them. And then we will have the civilians, which is Maria and Anna. Neither of them have recon, although Maria has an intelligence of D12, intelligence of A, so Maria will be on watch. But they all did, so Maria and Anna, because of the way when you do the life paths roll, so I generated them instead of using the templates, I used the life path process for Maria and Anna, and the last term, so it's a bit like the hostile, which I can't remember what the system would be called, or traveller, where you do periods of time as you move through your life. Life path character generation, so both of them, your final term is a period in some form of military because the war has kicked off by this stage. So Maria will be on watch. So our aim now is to basically start to bring everyone back into groups and then get everyone back into one place, and then we can work out who stays, who goes where, what happens to everyone. Somebody is going to obviously stay because either Anna or Maria will be from Rocklaw. But first, let's go through and see what happens with everyone. So we've got Jane. Jane is our first, and Jane is on watch. Jane has a D12 and no, Jane has a D8. I was looking at the wrong thing. D8 for intelligence, D8 for recon, and Jane hasn't got anything else to help, so Jane is just on watch. No hits. And then we'll go back through and we'll do the encounters for everyone. Staff is going to attempt to drive back. So Staff will be attempting to take the Jeep back from here, cross country to here. So it shouldn't be that complicated a driving, but I still will look up driving to make sure we do it right. All right, so what we do for driving, which we haven't really done before, at the beginning of every shift, you do a driving roll. Modified by terrain, it's open terrain for Staff, and so he gets a +1. And if you get no hits, there's a mishap. Something happens and there's a mishap table, a driving mishap table. Do I have one of those? No, I probably assumed they weren't really driving that much, but I'm gonna have to print one out now. Okay, so Staff will be driving back through. Staff has nothing for driving, so he gets a D10, but he gets a +1, which would give either we could do it as a D6 or bump that up to a D12, but I believe you're meant to level out the dice. Someone told me that once. You're meant to level dice to try and get them, so we'd bring a D6 up. He gets a hit, so no mishap. No mishap on that. Does he have, we can make say he's keeping watch, because he's driving, I don't know if he gets, well, he would keep an eye out, but we'll give him a massive minus, and he doesn't get to use his binoculars, of course. So he'd get a recon roll. He's -2 anyway, because he's in a motor vehicle. So his recon is a D12, D10. He's in a motor vehicle, so he gets a -2. So that's a D10, D8. And he's on his own, so he's paying attention to driving as well as doing everything else. So I'm going to give him another -2, so it's not just bumpy. So that would go down to a D8, D6. So this is him trying to keep his eye out whilst he's going. He gets one hit. Wow. Jack is attempting to rest because Jack is with Anna and Maria, but so far nobody has done a healing roll on Jack, so Jack doesn't heal today because Staff failed a healing roll for Jack. So that leaves us with Toby and Jacob. So first off, they're both going to attempt to do recon rolls to see if they can find any of the stuff as they start to come back, and then we'll give them a scout roll for the encounters check that will go around. So we've got Toby Jones is going to be checking to see if you can find stuff. So Toby will find some stuff on the way back, and maybe in the forest, which is where Toby caught the last of the scouts as they were going. And let's see if Jacob is able to pick and Jacob can pick some stuff up. So let's give him we've got like the scavenging roll table. Let's roll on that because it's humorous to see how, I don't really like this table, which is a D100. What have we got? 77. 77, a ski hat. Right, ski hat. And 32, an extension cord. All right, so we'll go, they managed to get, what shall we say they managed to get? There's 3 of them, they would come out, so they would have at least 2 lots of food each, so 6 days rations, 2 each on each of the people, which would include water. We would say there's an SVD, and they would have ammunition, but the ammunition would be AK, which is different caliber, isn't it? And let's go a D100 rounds. If I roll less than, let's see, there's 3 of them, so if I roll less than 30, I'll re-roll. 74 rounds. Oh, and they had that radio. They had a radio, but the radio needs to be checked for functionality, which Toby could do. Toby will do now. Toby will do a tech roll to see if he can get that radio working and see if the radio works. Yes, the radio works. And he's got a working short-range radio, which would be, okay, we'll call it the R126, which has a range of 2 kilometers and has short band range. So basically only within 1 hex. So it means that they can start communicating with each other when doing maneuvers in 1 hex, because they've got this radio and they've got the other radio back. So they can start so they've got 2 radios at least now, so they can split into 2 teams and start doing stuff. So they have short range radios. So they've found some equipment, and then they will be marching back, which was Toby was going to do the watch for that. I see they might have binoculars. Would they have they got, but actually these lot might have, that particularly that last one may have had binoculars. Let's do an oracle roll to see if they have binoculars, and then we can have a second set of binoculars that will give Toby maybe even a map. So first off we'll ask, did they have a map of the area? Diamond, yes. So there's a map. Now a map, so let's say a map and compass. So a map and compass gives a +2 to survival rolls for navigation. So there's a map and compass there, and then the next one is there binoculars, which you would almost think there would be because they were a scout team, but they might have got broken. If it's a no, there were binoculars, but they're broken. Black, no, they were broken. So there was binoculars, but the binoculars got broken in the chase. But they do have a map and compass. So then we will have the D10 unmodified watch. Oh, good, 2 hits. So as they're walking back, Toby is keeping his head on the swivel and making sure that he's keeping his eyes open. And then finally, we have the civilians who are back at the Marauder base, where they've been there for like, so this is quite a bit going on now. So they've been there overnight, and now they're coming into the second night being there. There was lots of gunfire, there was a sustained firefight, and they're still in the location. They're feeling quite nervous. They've had to fight off some wolves. Some cannibal hunters came around last time. So they're really having to keep their eyes open. We have Maria. Let's give them they've been there a while. Let's give them a chance to have found some binoculars that they had there, and then Maria can use those to give herself a +2 boost. So do they think to find, and then do they find binoculars? Hearts, yes. Okay. So we will give Maria a pair of binoculars. So that gives Maria a +2 on her recon. So she gets a D12, D8 for the +2. So Maria is keeping her eyes open as Anna is checking on stuff and just basically sort of sitting around having a read and killing time as Maria is on watch during this period. 2 hits, really good. So now we'll cycle back round to the lot of them again. So Jane is on the Bradley. Jane has been distracted. Possibly some of the people from Rocklaw have come over to make sure that she is okay. Some of the people, maybe they've come and brought her some water or some food or something. So what's her encounter? What does she, oh, it's marked on the back. We have the 10 of spades. That's an order. A band of stragglers from the US forces in the area. They are starving. One of them is an officer of a higher rank than any of the PCs and will use this fact to order the PCs to do what he wants, which is for them to become part of his unit. If denied, he'll get very agitated and might even turn violent. So this is, all right, okay. All right, we'll see what happens with everybody else, and then we're going to cycle back round. So we've got 10 of spades. That's an order. So Jane is going to have to deal with that turning up and dealing with Jane. All right, and then we'll see what happens, because that will have as a social encounter to start off with, and it might get violent. We'll see what happens and if it gets violent. Next we have, who's next down the list? Next we have Staff, who's driving back with a Jeep. This is 2 of clubs, forest fire. This is forest, daytime or stationary. So this doesn't, so Staff isn't affected by a forest fire. We don't have a forest fire for that because Staff though is cross country, which does count. Oh, it has been sunny. Where is that forest fire? Let's read it. All right, so where is this forest fire? Here we go. Hunting possible without spending a shift. The fire has intensity C and is 20 hexes deep. Survival roll needed to find a way past. Even if successful, no further travel this shift. If the roll fails, the path forward is blocked for the next shift too. All right, so Staff made, so Staff Jeep's here. There's this foresty stuff here. So maybe, so what's that say? 20 hexes deep. 20 hex. Oh, maybe it means on a small map, 20 hexes deep. But so Staff is coming through. So as he's coming through, this part over here there's a forest fire. Possibly someone was doing some camping and they left something burning, and there was intense fire around here. So we'll need Staff to make a survival roll. If he succeeds in making the survival roll, he will bypass. Otherwise, he's going to try and wait out the fire, and then we'll have that. So he's got 2. If he makes his survival roll, basically he gets back to the camp for the night shift. If he fails the survival roll, then Staff is going to be caught by the fire. This is a quick one to resolve, so we can do that now. Staff has a survival of a D8 and intelligence of a D12. He just needs a hit to go round. No, he will find that quite stressful, so push that. He gets a hit. So though I always have to check. So though he pushed it, because he didn't roll a fail, a 1, he doesn't take damage. I always double check because and there's some you take it automatically when you push, and like Dragonbane and Walking Dead and Alien, and others like this, you only take a damage from a push if you do one of those fails in your roll. So Staff, he gets quite stressed and he's thinking, oh man, I've got to get back. I can't leave those 2 birds on their own any longer. And he bypasses, goes around the fire, and so Staff will end up this shift at the end of the shift back here. But this all depends on what Maria and Anna pull as their thing. So what we've got Staff, then we've got Jack, then we've got Toby and Jacob. Toby and Jacob are on the walk back to Jane, so they might come at the tail end of Jane's discussion with this superior officer. So what does Toby and Jacob get? Toby and Jacob gets a 2 of hearts, sunshine. I don't know if we've had this before. Suddenly, the thick grey clouds of soot from cloudless nuclear destinations dissipate and the sun breaks through the smog. The sight of the sun heals 1 point of stress and the weather turns to fair. Okay, so it's already quite sunny, so that goes with the weather. So basically, as Toby and Jacob are traipsing through after just having the terrifying job of having to chase down these scouts from they don't know where, and face them off and then take their lives. The sun opens. Neither of them are damaged. Actually, Jacob has 1 point of damage. Though it says 1 point of stress, I'm going to alleviate 1 point of damage from Jacob. It's sunny. It's quite a pleasant walk. So what turned out to be a run and chasing terror, and they were both quite sweaty, has turned out there's a bit of a breeze has come, the sun's come out. So what was that? It's 2 of hearts. The sun's come out, and it's actually quite a pleasant little walk that they're now having a pleasant little walk back to where Jane is. Who knows what they're going to come into. And then so we've got them 2. And finally, we have Jack, who's unconscious. Maria and Anna, what do they encounter? They've got 9 of clubs, Marauder roadblock, which is stationary sometime or daytime, but it's when you're on the move, they're not going to encounter a Marauder roadblock. So we are back to Jane with her 10 of spades. That's an order. All right, so 10 of spades, that's an order. So 2 times PCs on road. Well, she's technically on road as she is down here. So we'll move Toby and Jacob back down to where Jane is for now. And the Jeep is down there for now. So Jane, it's early in the evening. Jane's keeping an eye out. She sees 2 people coming traipsing. Let's say they're coming down this road. Maybe they've heard about this base here and they're coming down. Well, let's see, which way are they going? Are they coming from the base or are they going to the base? So we'll say, we'll give it, I'm going to move that one. So that one's come out of the deck. So there's 1 less probability of getting black. So black is going to the Marauders, red is coming from the Marauders. Red coming from the Marauders. So they're passing past Rocklaw and up the road past here, and they spot Jane. Jane got 0 hits, so Jane doesn't see them coming. Let's say, so this is a US officer. Intelligence of B, D10. Recon of a C, D8. D10, D8. D10, D8. If it's a 1-1, we'll say he doesn't notice her. No, he definitely notices. He gets 2 hits. So they come across this US officer and a private. So he's a sergeant. No, let's see, he's a sergeant. He's a captain, lieutenant. He's a lieutenant, so he's high ranking, based on Jane. Coming up to Jane. All right. In fact, use this to order what he wants for him to become part of his unit. He didn't like. Right, so he's coming up, comes up, sees the Bradley, approaches the Bradley in a swagger, looking. First off, they must have kept it because he did two hits, so he's keeping an eye out. It's getting to the evening, so probably it's coming up to, I don't know, 6-ish, 6:30, 7 o'clock. So I think it would still be pretty light in May around this time. It was starting to get. It would start, where's me? So the sun would set around 8 p.m. in May. So it's still daylight. It's still sort of like, it's just getting, end of the evening. It's still been quite a lovely day, as we just discussed. And these 2 people come marching up. Jane is looking in the other direction and she hears a shout in English of, "Are you a US soldier?" And Jane will turn to Squires, go, "Yeah? Yes, sir, don't you mean?" As these 2 figures will approach. They're looking quite, what did it say they're where's that card? They're stragglers. So they're looking a bit down on their luck. They're starving, so they're really hungry. And so we can say that because it's coming up to evening, that Jane was starting to put together, she's eating something. Because she's on watch. She's got some more of the dried rations type stuff, and she's just chewing on that, and she's hobbling around with her brace on her leg, and he's going to say, "Oh, I see you're injured there, soldier. Where's the rest of your unit?" So what's Jane going to say? So he's stepped in. Has he got command? I'm going to throw. He's got command. I'm going to throw him a command roll to see if he can catch Jane off guard. Though Jane's been going, so it's not been that long, like in real time. Though we've been playing this for ages, in game time, we've been going since the night, so a month. So it's not even really been a full 4 weeks of actual time since the battle. So it's probably been about 6 weeks since the battle, and Jane was fully serving. So though things have changed dramatically, she might click back into her old mindset and just automatically go into deference to this officer. So he's going to attempt to do a command roll, 2 hits. So he's going to throw a command roll at her, and I'm going to make her make, let's see, empathy, persuasion. She's not got persuasion, so it's a 2-8. It's two hits. She can't beat 2 hits because she's only got a D8 to work on. So she can't beat 2 hits. She doesn't even get hit. And so he comes up, catches her unawares, speaks with the voice of authority, speaks with the voice of an officer, raises the inflection, speaks with a very snappy command. She stands up and like stands to attention almost and says, "Sorry, sir, what?" He's going, "Where's the rest of the unit?" They've gone off on different jobs, sir. They've gone on different missions. We've got somebody's gone down to do a scout, and we've got somebody else who's been chasing down some snipers who are attempting to overwatch us. He's going, "Oh, okay, so you're all on your own?" And she, because of this, is going to answer a few questions and be saying, "At the moment, sir, yes." He's going, "Right, do you have, I see you're eating, do you have food?" "Yes, sir." "Right, get out some food." So he is going to, does a UFS officer have, he has persuasion. All right, so he's got a D10 and a D6 for persuasion. So he's then going to use the offshoot of that and get her to give them some food. No, but he will, let's give her a D8. If she gets a hit, she'll resist it and say no. So she's gonna say all right, and she'll hand over some of their food. Now they did have a few days worth of food. I had it marked down somewhere. Here we go. So they've got 2 days worth of food, and then they're basically on the rations they've got. He's gonna see how much they've got in the stores and grab both of those lots of food. Basically, he's gonna strip the food from Jane, who is attempting, because she's all on her own, attempting to resist it. He will then be then saying, "Right, so we will be commandeering this Bradley. We need you to help drive us." And that's where Jane's going to have to turn around and say, it can't drive at the moment. And also he might be able to see, let's give him has he got a tech roll? No. So what's tech under? Tech is under intelligence, which is a D8. No. And so he doesn't realise that there's bits of the Bradley laying on tarp around the area with a tarp cover, like ready to cover over in case it starts raining, because Toby has been trying to change out the fuel system to be able to accept alcohol, ethanol, because I'm assuming you have to do something to an engine. I'm assuming you don't just pour, grain alcohol into a car and it will just start going, "Way, let's go." I'm assuming that's not how it works. I'm assuming the engine needs some form of transfer. What does this say? Okay, so yeah, it's like, this says it only takes a shift to convert an engine. I'm sure it'll take longer than that. So you need to make a tech roll and it takes a shift of work, but you do have to modify an engine to run on ethanol. So Toby has been attempting to modify the engine, but we've said it takes 4 successful rolls. He's halfway through the work at the moment. And then you need a steel to produce the alcohol, which they haven't worked out how to do yet. They're going to have to actually go around gathering materials for a shift to then distill into alcohol to then produce fuel. But it will all work out in the end. Anyway, he doesn't notice this officer, who is called, let's give him a name, McCartney. Dave McCarty, C-A-R-T-Y, McCarty. Dave was a kickstart. So the offer is Officer Dave McCarty. So he's Lieutenant Dave McCarty is, and we won't say what's the private? Oh, we'll give the private a name as well. The private is Chris Morton. Lieutenant Dave McCarty is saying, "We want the Bradley. That let's drive it off." Jane is saying it can't. It doesn't drive. It needs the fuel to come out. It's going to say, "Well, who gave you instructions to do that?" She says, "I'm not the person doing it. He's gone off to chase down the scout team. I couldn't chase because of my injury." So they're having that exchange. He's getting a bit heated that they can't get this. He goes, "Well, okay, we'll just have to wait for him to come back, and then he can then fix the vehicle." And she's going, "We're not going to take you anywhere, sir. You can possibly join us. When our boss comes back." "Who's your boss?" She's going to say, his Staff Sergeant Robert Finn. He's from the British Special Forces. He's going to say, "Well, he's not even part of our unit, so he doesn't have any say in what we do. You'll come with us. We'll pack up all the stuff and we'll go now then." Will he do that? Is he going to panic? No, he's going to want that Bradley. He's going to want the Bradley. If denied, he'll get very agitated and might even turn violent. All right, so at this point, he's going to start getting a bit agitated and say, "Well, this is no good. This is absolutely no good whatsoever. Now what have we got here? All right, so is he going to turn, I don't know, will he turn violent yet? He's going to want the vehicle to be fixed up. Staff hasn't come back yet. He's going to say, well, we'll wait. We're going to wait here. Is Jane going to let him wait? I don't think Jane, on the roles that Jane has done so far, Jane is in no position to resist him resist what he's saying and tell him, no, you can't wait here. And he will wait anyway, even if she does. The only thing Jane's got left is to shoot him, which I wouldn't put it past her. But still, she failed on that role for the whole command thing. All right, so he might wait there and see what happens when Toby and Jacob come back, which they will be coming back next shift. In fact, that they at the end of this shift they would have turned up. So he would. Well, we could segue to that now and see what happens. So then we've got Jane, Toby, and Jacob are dealing with this officer, which is the night shift. So it's getting to now. It gets to be as it starts to get dark. So it's starting to, the sun goes down. So we're getting to about 8-9 o'clock. It's dark. That officer, so the lieutenant is still there. They would be there. They've just had, so they would eat as soon as they get back. They would eat. So then Toby and Jacob would turn up. So maybe let's give Toby and Jacob we'll give Jacob. No, it's Toby. We'll give Toby a scout roll to see if Toby spots what's going on before they come. So a recon roll. Does Toby spot what is going on before? And he's got. No, he doesn't have binoculars, does he? He's just got the map. So he would spot, does he spot what's going on before coming in? He does. So he spots that there's this bloke who's standing there, and is he getting agitated with Jane? Is he getting agitated with Jane? So we'll use the number. So low number, he's not that agitated. A high picture card number, he's getting really quite agged that they're not come back yet. So sevens, is moderate, so he's getting moderately annoyed, and he's moderately annoyed that they're still there and they haven't moved off yet, because he's thinking the longer they wait, this special forces bloke might turn up, and then he's going to have to deal with multiple people. At the moment he's just got Jane. He thought this was going to be nice and easy, so he's grabbed kit. Would he have got would he have tried to get anything else like that radio? Would he have grabbed the other radio and grabbed some other stuff? Blacks is going to be yes he is. Reds is going to be no he won't. Diamond is no he won't. So he's waiting, because he's waiting for them to come back and get this Bradley up and running. So Toby will walk in with Jacob. Jacob's been observing this, so Jacob's ready. So Toby and Jacob are ready for trouble. So weapons up. I think so. Toby's got his M16. Jacob did run along with the PKM. Not that he got to use it. They'll walk in. To the Bradley, so off that hill, because there was a hill, then the road coming round, so they're coming round that road. They'll come down, so they came across this place here. They'll come around the road. There's the road that's coming down this way, which is you can't really see because of, but under there's a road coming. So they'll come around there and around to the edge, which the Bradley's just parked on the other side of the river over here. They'll circle around, and they can see from the distance that somebody is standing and getting moderately having a bit of a discussion with Jane, who's sort of standing there looking really uncomfortable. As they come round, they'll shout out and stay at a bit of a distance. What's going on? So that would be probably Jacob rather than Toby. Who's got? Yeah, neither of them have got any form of sort of interpersonal skills. They're both basically heavy weapons and then driver, technician, specialists. So we've got a specialist and a corporal in a Polish accent, and that's where the Lieutenant McCartney is going to go, why am I talking to you? Which of you is that you in the uniform, you in the USO uniform, are you the one who's repairing this vehicle? So he's then going to try and overpower Toby and get Toby to do what he wants. So we've got officer, empathy B, which is our D10, and command of a C, which is a D8. He is then going to try and get Toby to do what he wants. No hits. Okay, so he's getting tired and flustered, and he's getting a bit angry now. Toby, who we said he had a D8, didn't we? Toby's going to push that and try and get hit. No. So Toby is going, I'm sorry, sir. What is it you want me to do? He's going, get this going now. Get back whatever you've been doing, as they're sort of like carrying spare weapons. They've got like a couple of AKs and the SVD. Let's say 1 AK, 1 AKM. They've like got a sack full of the magazines that have just stripped off the bodies, and loose rounds that they've stripped out of the broken. Say there was one broken AKM which got damaged in the shooting, and they've got like a spare pack which has got the rations in. Sorry sir, what is it you want me to do? Get this going, and then we can move off, and we can what is it? I can't remember the thing from Generation Kill, but we'll be on the move. And so Toby, he's like, no, I don't know if I can do that, sir. We're waiting for Staff Sergeant Finn. Robert Finn. It is Robert Finn, isn't it? I've forgotten his name. Finn. Staff Sergeant Finn. Staff Sergeant Robert Finn. Staff Sergeant Finn to return, and then we are off ourselves, sir. We've got stuff to do. I'm very sorry, but I don't know what it is you want me to do, sir. You also think that Toby took the Bradley and hid it away rather than going back with the forces. So he would be starting to get angry at this point. So the officer is getting angry because he failed that roll. Now he'll try a persuasion roll, which isn't as good. So persuasion is a D6, D10. He's going to try and persuade them. So now he's going to start cajoling and getting angry. So basically this would be an intimidation roll. He's going to try an intimidation roll. Failing. Toby gets a hit. So Toby is like stepping. So Jacob is stepping up and saying, "I don't. Can you stop?" Because both of them got D8. So Jacob will take over with the PKM, and Toby will probably start to manoeuvre himself around a bit and start to circle out a bit. And Jane, at this point, is going to start to move back to the Bradley. They're all going to try and move. Now I'm going to give them. I'll give them a collective. Let's give them a collective. Oh no, I'll give them a collective recon roll, which is lowest. So we've got. I think D8. D8 is our lowest recon. For them to basically all start to sense. Yeah, D8. D8 is our lowest recon. For them all to sort of sense that something is about to kick off. Jane is going to start to back up a bit. Maybe sort of step into the Bradley for cover. Toby will start to circle a bit on the road, maybe to go round to a sign or a burnt out car husk that is by the edge of the road. And Jacob, being heavy weapons, is just going to stand there and sort of slowly adjust the strap of the PKM. No, but they'll push this. They get to successfully do it, but they're all going to take so what's that? Intelligence. They all get impacted by stress, and they all get one stress hit as they all start to stressfully know something is about to kick off. Janie's already stressed. They'll start to stressfully know that something's about to kick off, and as this officer is starting to get a little bit heated and starting to get a little bit annoyed with them. All right, we're going to have Jacob now. Is going to attempt to. Jacob's not got persuasion. Jacob is going to charge the PKM. And go, now, sir, I understand, Polish accent, can't do the accent. I understand what you're saying and where you're coming from, but I'm going to strongly advise you take what you've been given and you go now, because we're going nowhere and we are waiting for our commanding officer to return, and it's not you. I advise you leave now, sir. So Jacob is going to attempt to do it. If Jacob succeeds in this, then he will leave. If Jacob fails, so no, all right, Jacob will push it. No, okay. So he doesn't take any stress, but he fails. The commanding officer is going to get, if the commanding officer passes on this, he's going to get really, really annoyed. And then we're going to kick off, because it does say get aggressive and violent. Okay, so he succeeds. He's getting furious, and he's going to say, how dare you speak to me like that? He will then pull his sidearm, and because of that success, he's going to hope that that is enough. He's got a pistol with one reload, and he hasn't even got body armor on. And he's got a soldier with him who's M16. So the soldier is going to be used to this because they've done this before, which is probably why they've not got many people left. There's just the two of them. The officer will pull his pistol. The soldier is going to level the M16. And we then will, will they do? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It is, you know, it is shooting a commanding officer. They are basically being ordered. Even though the card says do that, strictly speaking, it is valid. So we'll give them all. So what have we got? We've got Jane, we've got Toby, we need Jacob. So we've got Jane, Jacob, Toby, and the encounter. We'll do the encounter first. Encounter goes on 4. So that is the officer and his private. We will go Jacob, goes on 7. Jacob, who started to move around to behind the burnt out car, he's going on 7. We have Jane, he's going last. So Jane is obviously slightly stuck behind the door of the Bradley and doesn't get to react as fast. And so Jacob is standing out in the middle, and finally we have Toby. Toby goes on 4. So the officer and the private catches them unawares, as they don't really think that this is going to kick off. And maybe this is why, because we've got the officer and the soldier are the private, what was his name? Chris Morton. So the Private Morton and Lieutenant McCartney have done this before, and they're expecting if they start opening fire, that will then overpower them and they might be able to catch them unawares. And so they're within short range. They've still got a distance enough. Jacob standing out in the open. Jacob will be the target for the officer who is going to surprise Jacob. So Jacob is levelling and is ready, but then the officer who pulls his pistol is just going to level it and open fire whilst attempting to... he'll stand there and open fire, and then, because if he moves, he loses, he'll get a minus... Oh, he only gets a -1, isn't it? Because it's smaller. All right, he'll get a -1 because he's going to attempt to open fire and then move into some form of cover because he's not an idiot. So he'll attempt to move around the Bradley, which means he puts him out of range of possibly... Oh, no, because... Oh, I know. Jane can use one of the M4s in the Bradley. So he'll move around the Bradley. So he will try and shoot our Jacob, which would then give him an agility of a D10. I'll move this out of the way. He's got range combat of a D8, a C. He gets, because he's moving, he gets -1, which puts him down to a D8. Within range, active target in the same hex. Yeah, but it's not close map, it's big map hex. Defenseless target, no. Is he defenseless? He's not really defenseless. He's standing there. He's not prone. He's not in cover. Target's not moving. Jacob's standing still. It is getting to dim light because we are technically moving into the night bit, but we won't give them all. Oh, we could give them all -1s. We'll give them all -1 for the light, which starts into D8, D6. He's using. It says he's got an M9 pistol. I'm just going to quickly see if an M9 pistol has got a rate of fire. It does have a rate of fire of 2, so he gets to roll 1 dice for ammo. So this is shooting at Jacob, missing, and no bullets, so Jacob doesn't make a cornice under fire roll. His compadre, Private Morton, will then have he's got an agility of a B, which is a D10. He then has combat of a C, which is a D8. It's M16. He is also moving into cover, which is -2, which goes D8, D6. It's also got Twilight with the light, and I dropped everyone by 1, so that's a D6, D6. He does a short burst with the M16, also at Jacob. Oh, would he do Jacob? Or he could do... Yeah, Jacob's standing out in the open. He's going to do Jacob. Getting 1 hit on Jacob in the torso. The M16 is doing 2 points of damage. Jacob has a flak vest on the torso. The flak vest is ruined by the shot, but it still stops 1 point of damage. Does it? Yeah. So it still stops 1 point of damage, but that permanently damages the flak vest. And Jacob takes a hit to the chest. Jacob has a cornice under fire of C. And who's got the most command? I don't think any of them have command, which is how you do the second stat for the thing. So I'm going to give him... Oh, hold on. Who's this? No, that's Maria. She's not even there. So we'll go C, which is a D8, and I'll give him a D6 for the unit because he's got Jane, Toby, but he fails, so he drops to the ground. So Jacob, I'm going to take Jacob out of this. So Jacob is recovering from Cornice under fire as those two shoot, and then they are manoeuvring into cover and their bit. Toby is next. Toby, who is off to the side, is going to... So Toby is right near Jacob, who's been shot at and hit. So Toby, strictly speaking, I think Toby needs to make a Cornice under fire as well, because Toby is right next to him. Is that how we do, or we only do that with... So it's that Toby also needs to make a Cornice under fire roll, but Jacob takes 1 stress because he failed his Cornice under fire roll. So anytime you're hit by an attack or someone rolls the ammo die from the attack, you take 1 point of stress, and your roll of the Cornice under fire is to not take that 1 point of stress. But if you do take the 1 point of stress, then you are frozen, i.e. you failed the Cornice under fire. So Toby needs to make a Cornice under fire check. If he fails it, then he has to take 1 point of stress, and then Toby's out of the picture because Toby's technically in the same hex as Jacob gets hit and goes down. But Toby passes it, so Toby's fine. So Toby is then going to... So it's Toby's turn. He did his Cornice under fire roll. He passed his Cornice under fire roll. So now Toby gets to return fire. So Toby has his M16. He went into cover, so he's not moving for this. So he has a D10 for his agility, a D8 for his range combat. He didn't move. He's stationary now because he'd moved round. So he doesn't get the minus for moving. He does get a -1 because of the light, and he is also going to do a burst with the M16. He is going to aim at the lieutenant, who is moving because he moved into cover. So lieutenant gets -1 because he's moving. So that gives him a D6. So in which case, because they just grabbed some additional stuff, Toby is going to take advantage of that, and he's going to burn a hole. He's just going to open fire. Toby's a mechanic. He's shooting at the lieutenant. He gets 1 hit and 1 bullet. He could try pushing this, though that is going to damage the gun if he pushes it. And his M16 is going up and down as it is, but he might push it because then he will be... So at the moment he's doing 3 points. He's critically killed him, but he's going to push it anyway. It's going to push. So Toby pushes this. Gets that. Outstanding. Oh, he might be able to catch both of them. All right, so the weapon takes 2 points of reliability damage, which is this. So he's damaging... Oh, dude, oh no, hold on. I also need to roll these ones. So, because you roll everything that doesn't roll one of these or one of those. Okay, so the gun takes 3 points of damage, taking it down to a reliability of 1. He gets 2 hits and an extra point, so he's going to put that onto the lieutenant and this onto the private. So he hits the lieutenant in the legs, which we'll roll it anyway just for the... doing a `1 in the legs. Oh, it says crushed toe. So he basically shoots his foot off. Which, because he's an NPC, the lieutenant is an NPC, so he does 3 points of damage. The critical threshold for an M16 is 3 points of damage, so that takes the lieutenant out of the picture. And then he hits the private in the... no, not that one. The private in the torso, which then does 1 point of damage on the private. The private now has to make a Cornice under fire roll, which he needed to make anyway because his officer went down, which is a D8. He passes, and so he's now in cover behind the Bradley. He's been hit. The lieutenant has gone down just behind the Bradley. That is Toby. So now we have Jane. Jane is going to attempt to use... So Jane is going to go around the Bradley and see if any of the M4s, there are 6 M4s sticking out of the Bradley, 3 on both sides if I remember rightly. If he went round the side of the Bradley, i.e. Jane wouldn't be able to see him from the door where she would have gone into, then she is going to attempt to say, so she is going to say to me as the DM, can I see from using one of those, so she'll take a minus because she's moved, she'll say, can I see that bloke who's just been hit from the Bradley? And we will say, hearts, yes. We'll say, yes, you can. So she'll go, all right, I'm going to use the M4, which is Jane is going to use the M4. Let's see if Jane can do this. So Jane has got Rifleman, which gives +1 for range combat. So Jane is a D12, D10, +1, D12, D12. The M4 also gives her a rate of fire. So she is going to empty up the M4. She moved, so that goes down by 2, D10, D10. It's Twilight, so D10, D8. So she's got D10, D8 opening up on the geezer who's run around and he's attempting to take cover, who just got clipped by Toby as he went into cover. She is going to push that because it's Jane, which means the M4 takes damage and she will take damage from hitting herself as she's trying to run around within the Bradley. She hits him, and with a +1, the M4 takes 2 reliability damage. That M4 is going to need fixing up. Takes 2 reliability damage. She takes 1 point of damage. She's really getting bruised and knocked up. She's got 4 points of damage at the moment. She's getting really badly bruised and knocked up. But this dude takes 3 points of damage in the torso. So let's see, did that first shot in the torso break his... It did. It took it. So the shot that Toby hit him with damaged the flak vest, which means that this goes straight through, which means that Jane opens up a burst across his torso. It rips open the flak vest, and is that so that's a damage of 2, crit of 3. Damage 2 +1 is a 3. So yeah, rips through and the dude goes down behind the Bradley. And in that one burst of combat that goes down. Toby will run straight across to Jacob, who got strafed. And Toby is going to do a medical check on Jacob to basically, so he's got a med kit, but the med kit's, no, so he could, oh no, he's got like a doctor's kit, so he can do that. So Toby is going to run across, check that Jacob is all right, and because his flak vest got done, and he is going to do a medical check on Jacob, which then he needs a hit, will alleviate damage, 1 point of damage instantly, but also stops him getting infection. So basically, if you take any form of damage within a combat, also Jane was going to need to be patched up as well. If you take damage after a combat and you do not get medical attention straight afterwards, then you can get infected. That is for Jacob. So Jacob is patched up, he's bandaged up, and he's feeling nice. Jack, here we go. He's feeling much better. Jacob alleviates 1 point of that, and we'll lose 1 point of that. And then Toby will go check to make sure that Jane is all right. Nothing for Jane. Jane could really do with the healing, so he's going to push that because he gets stressed by it. Oh, so she takes 1 point off. That's all right. And then so that's that. They will grab the M16, M9. They had no food, but they did take 2 days worth of food off them, so they will get 1 lot of food back. They wouldn't have anything else. They might have binoculars, I reckon they will only have binoculars on a red picture card. Red picture card, that captain will have something on him. Only on a red picture card. No, it's equivalent, but it's black. I think that is it. We only did an evening shift because we're all spread out, so it means it takes a bit longer. And so hopefully next time, so we've got, so what they'll be doing is they will be clearing up the debris. So technically we're in the night shift. We began the night shift. So Jane, Toby and Jacob were dealing with the officer, and then they are going to have to do stuff. So we'll work out what they do, and then they'll need to do then we'll have to work out what they do. So they will need to do probably Jane sleeping, Toby keeping watch and Jacob sleeping. And then we'll work out what so staff is back with Jacob and the civilians, and we'll continue that next session where we'll find out what happens to them next and if they can all get back together up near Rocklaw, which I thought was going to happen this time. Anyway, thank you very much for being here for this, our 9th session of Series 2 of Twilight 2000. We will be continuing next week with further adventures and see where they go and what happens. And I will be hopefully at some point getting Hostile Waters, which has an extended map. Hostile Waters would be awesome to try and get and see if I can find cheap enough and get an additional map to allow us to go a bit further with Hostile Waters. And that's it. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you to the subscribers for being subscribers. Thank you very much if you're not a subscriber. Thank you for visiting. If you'd like to subscribe, that would be awesome. And hit the little thing, hit the little bell. Thank you very much. It will go all pretty colours and give you a little bit of dopamine rush. Thank you so much to the members for all of your support. It's very much grateful. Thank you to everyone for your watch time and all your support as always. And I shall see you next time. Have fun.